Section 1. The Big Reveal and the Five Kingdom Strategy. Samsung is not just one smartphone manufacturer, it operates almost like 5 distinct companies functioning under a single global brand. While the average consumer usually recognizes only one or two iconic lines, Samsung's empire is built upon a complex, multi-tiered hierarchy of smartphone families, each engineered to solve a completely different problem for a completely different buyer. One line exists solely to push the boundaries of physics by folding glass displays in half. Another was designed with a single-minded obsession, surviving 2 full days of heavy usage without ever touching a wall charger. And one entire lineup is so heavily regionalized and under the radar that unless you live in specific markets like India or Southeast Asia, you have likely never seen one in person. Understanding Samsung requires looking past the flashy marketing billboards and dissecting why this massive portfolio exists in the first place. Every single letter S, Z, A, M, and F represents a calculated strategic decision designed to capture a specific segment of the global market. Together, they allow Samsung to maintain its status as one of the world's largest smartphone vendors, walling off competitors like Apple at the top end and aggressively countering budget rivals like Xiaomi and Realme at the lower end. Section 2. The Flagship Anchor, Galaxy S Series and Note DNA. To understand how Samsung reached this point, you have to go back to 2010 when the company introduced the original Galaxy S. At the time, Apple's iPhone dominated the emerging smartphone market, selling an aspirational experience. Samsung needed a direct counterweapon, and its strategy was clear. While Apple sold elegance and software integration, Samsung would sell raw hardware supremacy. The original Galaxy S offered a vibrant Super AMOLED display, an open file structure, and expandable microSD storage, a feature Apple refused to touch. Samsung's philosophy became simple: offer bigger displays, higher megapixel counts, faster charging speeds, and a spec sheet so packed that power users couldn't ignore it. As the industry matured, Samsung realized that brute specs alone were no longer enough to maintain a premium identity. The turning point came with the Galaxy S6, which abandoned cheap plastic construction in favor of a sleek glass and metal sandwich design alongside wireless charging support. Years later, the Galaxy S20 Ultra took this philosophy to its absolute extreme, debuting a massive 108-megapixel camera and a headline-grabbing 100x space zoom capability. The Ultra moniker ceased to be a simple top-tier trim level. It became Samsung's vehicle to demonstrate pure technological capability, regardless of whether every feature was strictly necessary for the everyday user. However, modern Galaxy S Ultra devices carry an even deeper historical legacy. For nearly a decade, Samsung operated a completely separate flagship line known as the Galaxy Note series. Built for power users and business professionals, the Note was famous for pioneered giant phablet displays and its pressure-sensitive S Pen stylus. Over time, as standard S-series phones grew larger and adopted higher-end displays, the line between the S-series and the Note series began to blur significantly. By 2021, running 2 competing flagship launch cycles per year had become inefficient. Instead of abandoning the Note's loyal fanbase, Samsung made a permanent strategic move. Starting with the Galaxy S22 Ultra, the Note line was officially integrated into the S-series hierarchy. The Ultra model inherited the distinct blocky design, built-in S Pen silo, and productivity software features of the classic Note. Today, when you look at a top-tier Samsung Ultra, you aren't just looking at a standard flagship phone, you are looking at the combined DNA of 2 legendary smartphone lines merged into one ultimate power user device. Section 3. The next form factor, Galaxy Z series. If the S series represents the perfection of the traditional slate smartphone, the Galaxy Z series exists because Samsung decided to reinvent the form factor entirely. Launched in 2019, the original Galaxy Fold was an ambitious but wildly turbulent debut. Reviewers famously encountered delicate screens, hinge failures, and debris entering under the fragile display, forcing Samsung to delay the launch for months to re-engineer the device. Where most companies might have cancelled such a risky, high-profile project, Samsung treated the setback as a challenge and doubled down on flexible glass engineering. Over subsequent generations, the Z series evolved from a fragile experiment into a highly refined, mass-production reality. The lineup splits into 2 distinct form factors, each serving a totally different user mindset. Galaxy Z Fold, the book-style foldable designed for ultimate productivity. When unfolded, it transforms into a mini tablet, allowing power users to run 3 full apps side by side, read documents, and replace an iPad or small tablet in their daily workflow. Galaxy Z Flip, the compact clamshell that folds down into a tiny, square footprint. Built around portability, nostalgia, and lifestyle appeal, the Flip brings back the satisfying sensation of snapping a phone shut to end a call, while giving users a customizable outer cover screen for quick checks. While foldables still represent a specialized percentage of global smartphone sales compared to traditional glass slabs, the Z series is critical for Samsung. It serves as an engineering showcase, proving that Samsung can innovate new hardware categories faster than its main competitors, ensuring the brand remains synonymous with futuristic design. Section 4. The Forgotten Mid-Range Experiments. Samsung's current portfolio did not appear out of thin air. It is the result of years of trial-and-error experiments in different regional markets. Before establishing the streamlined lineup we have today, Samsung launched several short-lived series to test consumer preferences. Galaxy Mega, 2013, an early attempt at bringing massive 5.8-inch and 6.3-inch screen sizes to mid-range buyers. While short-lived, it proved that consumers wanted larger displays regardless of price point, paving the way for modern budget phablets. Galaxy Alpha, 2014, Samsung's first real experiment with a premium metal frame, created to combat criticisms of cheap plastic hardware. Although it was discontinued quickly due to a small battery and high price, its design language was immediately used to build the original Galaxy A series. Galaxy C series, 2016, a specialized line featuring sleek, all-metal unibody designs built specifically for the competitive Chinese market. It was eventually phased out as Samsung unified its mid-range strategy under the global A series banner. Section 5. The Volume Engine, Galaxy A series. While the S and Z series generate headline coverage and tech news stories, the Galaxy A series is the actual economic engine of Samsung's entire mobile division. Generating the majority of Samsung's global smartphone volume and revenue, the A series is built to cover every conceivable price point between $100 and $600. The genius of the A series lies in its trickle-down tech strategy. Samsung takes headline features from previous flagship generations such as high refresh rate AMOLED displays, optical image stabilization, OIS, IP67 water resistance, and sleek industrial designs, and packages them into affordable hardware. For millions of consumers around the world who cannot justify paying flagships prices, an A series phone offers 80% of the flagship experience at less than half the cost. Strategically, the A series allows Samsung to flood retail channels worldwide. Whether a buyer has $150, $300, or $500 to spend, there is a specific Galaxy A phone waiting for them on the shelf. This massive footprint prevents rising budget brands from capturing market share while keeping mid-range consumers deeply integrated into Samsung's One UI ecosystem, smartwatches, and cloud services. Section 6. The Battery Monsters, Galaxy M and F series. At the budget end of the spectrum, priorities shift away from luxury finishes and focus purely on practical utility and value. This is where the Galaxy M and F series operate. Galaxy M series, the battery champions, launched in 2019 to directly combat aggressive Chinese brands in markets like India. The M series has one single obsession: battery life. Featuring massive battery capacities, often ranging from 6,000 mAh to a staggering 7,000 mAh, these phones are designed for delivery workers, students, and power users who need 2 days of runtime on a single charge. To keep budget processors running smoothly, M-series devices frequently utilize One UI Core, a optimized, lightweight version of Samsung's interface that strips away unnecessary background features to maintain fluid performance. Galaxy F series, regional e-commerce strategy introduced in 2020, the F series operates primarily as an e-commerce exclusive lineup in specific Asian markets. Hardware-wise, F-series phones are largely rebadged or slightly tweaked variants of existing A and M series models. This allows Samsung to create exclusive retail partnerships with major online platforms, run massive holiday sales, and hit aggressive regional price points without disrupting the global pricing structure of its main A-series lineup.